Spilled some water on myself. Anyway, welcome to episode 11 of the Organized Frenzy podcast. I am Natasha, and you can find me on Instagram as Organized Frenzy, on Ravelry as Natasha Hillier, and I also have a Ravelry group where I post my show notes. I live in Welland, Ontario, Canada with my boyfriend Jesse, our roommate Fred, and our 3 cats. And I set everything out of order today. And I'm doing weird things because I have just water to drink. And I'm filming on Saturday, and the past little bit it's been Sunday. So it's a weird day. But I have things to show you. So get tickled. Let's just organize this quickly. Okay. I think I'm nearing the end of this pink color that I've been working on for ages. I don't know how well you can see this, but there it is on the inside of my giant cake. So we'll see. I don't know how many rows I'll be able to do with that, but here's my blanket. Okay. So I have a finished object which I'm wearing. And I probably shouldn't have worn because it's not the best way to show you. I'll take these off for a sec so you can see my Christmas socks. I have some pills on them because I'm wearing them in my slippers, which are the Costco slippers. Nuck Nuck or something, I think is the brand. This is like my 3rd pair. Well, technically 3rd. Really, 2nd, I had to get a replacement on 1 pair, so maybe they're my 4th pair. I love these slippers. My mom got them for me like years ago. I would probably want to say like 8 years ago, and they're just so comfy. And then I like wore through a pair. It was time for a new one. What are my cats doing? Got one. I don't know. Why are we talking about slippers? They are comfy and they're cozy and they're such a great value. It's only like $50 for this pair of slippers that are sheepskin and wool and whatever. I don't know what the materials are, but and they make me a little bit taller and I don't step my toes when I walk around. So I love those slippers. Anyway, I have some pills because I wore my socks inside of those slippers, but I'll do my best to show these. This is almost kind of like my foot blocked them. Okay, so here's one. Let's just do this. So here are my socks. They look kind of tiny like this, but they're one of the bigger pairs of socks that I've done, one of the taller ones. So I did the Susan B. Anderson Smooth Operator Socks heel, Afterthought heel, and I did the Kirby Warby, I think she's called. She's on YouTube. I don't even know what her name is, but There's a video about how she does her heel insertion when you're actually cutting your yarn so that you don't have to pick up stitches. So I did not pick anything up and there's no gap. Isn't that amazing? So here's the other one. There's a tiny bit on that one. This is the biggest gap that I have, and it's really like not even a gap. Tiny bit, but anyway, so I did the red heel first, and I did followed her instructions for the regular way because she's got like a variation for a bit of a smoother decrease line, but I followed the regular one. I had done my measurements, so I knew where to put my heel and had marked it all off, and then I did a Kitchener stitch to close it up. And I don't do Kitchener very often, but I like doing it and I have no troubles doing it. So I liked how that turned out. The corners, I did the bit of a smoother way. So normally you set up your Kitchener stitch and then do it, but that makes like a pointy edge. So if you just start right in without the setup, that makes it a bit smoother. So I find the start of the Kitchener stitch is the smoothest for me, which is right here. Like you can't even tell where it is. It's just a nice rounded thing. This one, I mean, I've been wearing them, so, but can you see this little bump here? I don't know if you can see it. But that's the end of it. So it's not as smooth. When you weave in your ends, you can kind of tuck it in a little bit better. So I try and do that. So I did that sock first, following the exact decreases, and I cannot tell if you can see this, but it wasn't as smooth as I wanted, so I did kind of a modification for the second heel. All the pills. They look the same now. I don't know if you can tell, but that's a little bit smoother. I have a bad corner on this one. Ugh. I tried to tuck it in, but it didn't really work. So, oh well. But that was the start. So that was the first afterthought heel I had ever done. And oh my goodness, they're chasing each other. The first afterthought heel I had done, and I did enjoy it. I think my favorite part of the sock was doing the heel. I thought that cutting the yarn was fun, and picking up the stitches was easy because I had marked everything off nicely. Knowing where to cut it was easy because, again, I had marked that off. I had a lot of ends to weave in because I did all the contrasting stuff, but that's fine. I didn't mind weaving in ends. What else can I say about the afterthought heel? I'm not super pleased with the way she does the decreases. It's not a special decrease stitch. I'm trying to like talk about it so you can understand, but not give anything away because it's a paid for pattern. it's not a special decrease stitch, but the way she does it, and it was not my favorite. I think it does make it smoother, but I don't think I mind seeing the decrease edges on there like a traditional afterthought heel looks. So for my next ones, I am gonna try doing it again, a bit of a modification, and see how I like that. But her row counts and everything, or the length of the heel, fits really good. It's nice and square. I find the heels sometimes look a bit odd if it's not big enough, but this one looks good. It comes out far enough that it fits. And the socks are comfy. I think these are the first superwash merino socks I've made myself, because everything else is just like wool nylon blends, like commercial yarns. So I finally had started to use my hand-dyed or hand-painted yarns, and they're super cozy. They're more slippery and more stretchy, I think, but I guess that's what you get for superwash merino. So yeah, so I wore those a few times. They're super comfy. I didn't even wash them after I finished them. Did I? No, I think I just put them on, which I usually do wash them, but we'll see how washing goes, because like I said, it's my first pair of superwash socks, superwash merino socks. Now for my whips, I forgot to mention this last week, but I had told myself that I was going to, because I have 4 whips, I told myself I was going to finish 2 before I could cast on 1, and I did that, because I finished my Comfort Fade Cardi, I finished my Christmas socks, and then I cast something on, which I'll show you in a minute. But this is what I've been mostly working on all week, is my What the Fade. And let me tell you, friends, these rows are long. Here is the right side. So I haven't showed you this in a long time, because I had not worked on it in a long time. I am almost finished with this burnt orange color, which is my least favorite color of all the ones that I have. Ugh. Dried Orange, it's called. It's by Malabrigo. It is a beautiful yarn to work with, but I don't love the color. But it does match the other ones that I have. It's the only solid one in there. I mean, it's slightly tonal, but the rest are more color tonal, multiple colored tonal yarns. I don't know how to define colors. Okay, so here's the middle. So this is where the point's gonna be. And I haven't really looked at it from a distance, so it's cool to see it on the camera like this, because it actually looks quite faded. And I thought it looked more like the stripes are quite defined, but further away it's not as bad. Of course, on the pearl side, it's even more blended, which I think this is my favorite side for that bit of it, and because it's got the smooth color change there. But here's where I was last time. There's my progress keeper. So I'll update that now. But I'm on clue 4. I kept it in the clue format. Oh my goodness, I'm so tangled. Oh boy. I kept it in the clue format for when I was knitting, because I thought that was fun. And that's how I had started knitting it, so I liked that. And the rows are super long. I think the last row is almost 600 stitches. I don't know what I'm at now. Probably 400. It is so long. and it's kind of boring to knit, but I am enjoying it more than I was a few months ago. When I was doing the brioche, I was loving it. Garter got a bit boring for me and I was working on other fun things, so this one wasn't that fun. I'm getting excited about it again because it's getting closer to being finished. The fades are, I guess, keeping a bit of interest. But knowing that it's almost done is what's kind of like making it more exciting again for me. So again, going back to that project versus process. And it's a nice easy knit while watching TV, so that's mostly why I've been knitting on it too. But the other thing that I cast on was the fiddlehead mittens that I'm making for my aunt. And I really did not make a lot of progress. But this is about a couple hours worth of work because of the cast on. It's an I-cord cast on. I don't know how I feel about these. I love the two colors that I have. They're Cascade 220, a light purple and a dark purple, heathered. They're both heathered. And then my inside, which is like this nice soft, I think it's probably a sport weight, Debbie Bliss, is that what it is? Nice and soft and a bright color for like a contrast, that pop of color inside. But I think my gauge is too big on here. And so I don't know if these are going to fit. Like, that's wide for a mitten, I feel. Maybe not. I don't know. I tried knitting them, so I was doing it my regular flicking and continental, so I was holding the yarn in both hands, knitting it that way. And it's slow and a bit uncomfortable. I like the idea of it, but I might try holding both strands together and wrapping each part depending on what I'm doing, what color I need, I mean. That was all in one day. I did the cast on and then I knit the first like couple rounds of color work and then I didn't go back to it. So I don't know yet how I feel. I'm pretty sure that was like last weekend too. I think that was Monday. Yes, it was. It was Monday morning. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, and I'll just have to do it to see. At this point, I'm feeling like those are going to be for next Christmas because I just don't feel like working on them right now. Yeah. So this is my one thing I said I was going to cast on, and I'm supposed to finish 2 projects before I cast something else on. And I haven't cast anything else on, but I'm planning to. So my next pair of socks, I think I talked about this before, how I want to kind of play around with different heels this year. So that's what I'm planning on doing with my next pair. And so I'm just using this Drops Fable print. My aunt had got me, oh my goodness, like 6 or 7, probably 700 grams. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 700 grams of this Drops Fable. So each ball is 50. So 14 balls of yarn. There was actually 16, but she kept 2 for herself. And it's just crazy. So I picked this one out because I don't have socks this color. I mean, I don't have the other colors either, but I thought this one was kind of fun. So it's like orange, red, pinkish. So I'm gonna wind this up today because I don't like to knit with balls like this, but I'm gonna wind that up, and I don't know if I'm gonna cast those on yet. I might. I'm going to my grandma's house today, staying over for the night, so I'm bringing knitting obviously, but I might only bring my What the Fade, so I'm not working on a million things, and I would be starting the toes. So that takes focus. So I don't think I'm going to bring that with me, but I wanted to at least wind up the yarn. And I also got some new knitting needles that I'm gonna try out. So I ordered online some ChiaoGoo needles from True North Yarn Co. And that is a local yarn shop in Barrie. And I got 4 needles. I only have 3 because there was one missing from my order. But as soon as I emailed them, they were so apologetic and said, we'll get the other ones out to you right away. So they haven't come yet, but that's okay. So I got the 2 pairs of the 2.25 millimeter 24 inch or 60 centimeters, 80 centimeter, no, oh, I'm confused, sorry, I'm doing this backwards. 2 pairs of this, which is the 2.25 millimeter, 60 centimeter, which is US size 1 in 24 inches. And then I got 1 pair of, so that's the other one that's coming. 1 pair of the 2.25 millimeter, 80 centimeter, which is US 1 in 32 inches. And then I got 1 pair of the 2.25 millimeter, 100 centimeter, which is again a US 1, 40 inches. So this is the lace, and this is the knit red, I guess, or just the regular. I forgot that these ones have a bend right there, and I work my socks magic loop, so I feel like that's gonna be a bit awkward to hold, but the needle is still, actually the needle is a little bit longer. Can I hold this up so you can see the length? Yeah. See, right here is where the other needle ends, but then it's got the bend, which is an extra length. So actually that might not be too uncomfortable. Either way, these don't have to be my primary sock needles. I wanted to try them because I love how the cord is. This is the, I have ChiaoGoo 9-inch circulars from my other sock project. So I wanted to try these ones. People have talked quite highly about them, and they're cheaper than Addie's, so I figured I would try it. And then I don't like to knit my 2 at a time with a 40-inch cord or 100 centimeter cord. Excuse me. Because it's too much cord for me, because I separate them so then I can use for toes, heels, cuffs, so I can use shorter needles. But I got these so that I have an extra set of needles in case I want to have 2 pairs of socks on the go. I guess now I could have 3 because I'm keeping my Addies, so I'm getting rid of them. So that's what I got, and that's what I'm going to knit these socks with as well. So that will be exciting to try a new heel. I didn't even tell you what heel I'm doing. Actually, I have it in here. What is this? I printed out 2 different things. That'll be one I'll try later. Different heels. So this one that I'm doing requires a bit of math. This is a free pattern, so I wrote all over it. It's called Toe Up Slip Stitch Heel Sock Formula for 2 Cirques. And I don't know who did it. Oh, it's at the bottom. Not, like Knot, Not Another Hat. So I just searched, I don't even know what I searched. I think I did socks free or toe up or something, and I was able to find a few different patterns for doing a gusset and heel flap. I'm saying it backwards, not a heel flap and gusset because it's toe up. So for a gusset and heel flap, toe up socks, really it's just the kind of number counts that I would need. I know how to do everything else, or I guess depends, right? So I don't know, whatever. Anyway, all I'm trying to say is this one is a bit of math required because it gives you formulas, and then depending on how big your sock is, then you just plug in your numbers and do that. And I don't know how long of a heel flap I want to do and whatnot, so I just wrote all over here so I could figure out my counts for everything. So I'm gonna try this one first. The other one I'll just share with you another time when I actually try it, but I will do those socks shortly. And then the last whip, which is not a whip yet, similar to those socks that I'm going to show you, is this. So we'll start with this. I did a little gauge swatch last night so I could see how the yarn knit up on a couple different sizes of needles. I don't have the pattern printed, but commissioned my mother to print it and bring it today, so because I'm gonna see her today. So it's called the Cancun Boxy Lace Top. I think it is a, as it indicates, lacy boxy top. It's like a crop top, but it's just made up of 4 different pattern repeats, and you put them in like a random order. So and this is a free pattern too, but you put them in random order and you get this pretty lacy top. I wanted to make myself a beach cover up, so it's going to be a dress, so longer than the crop top, and my yarn is a little bit different and my gauge is a little bit different. So the pattern, it's knit in 2 panels, a front and a back, and then you seam right here, and then you seam from the underarm down, and it just creates this nice like boxy top. So I'm gonna follow that, but then I will just continue on in the random pattern and go down. So I did a little gauge thing. So she does 98 stitches, and her gauge is 4.5 stitches per inch, and so that works out to be like 21.6, I think, inches across, but because it's lace it stretches a little bit more, so it's actually 27 inches across, which does work for my measurements. It's a little bit more tight than I like, but it would have been fine. But my gauge is different, so she used a 5.5 millimeter needle, which is like I think a US 8 or something like that. So I did that for this top part. I should tell you, I'm using cotton, just from Walmart. I'll show you the ball in a second, but I did that, and my gauge was 4 stitches per inch. So if I had just done that and done the normal stitch count, my thing would be super wide. It would be like way too wide. So I'm okay to modify stitch counts and everything. So then I also tried a 6 millimeter to see what fabric I liked the best, and this is too loose for me. There's not enough structure. It's gonna be like, this is stockinette, and if I'm doing it lacy, it's gonna just, I feel like it's just gonna fall apart and not have any structure or shape. It is seamed, so that'll give it a bit of strength, but I think I liked the 5.5 millimeter best, and my gauge is not as even. with the 6mm, so I wanted to just stick with that. And this is a worsted. So look at this yarn. This freaking huge ball. I had planned to make myself a beach cover-up a long time ago. Not that long, about a year. Because I went on 2 trips last year and I was like, yeah, I can crochet. It's so much quicker than knitting. I hate crocheting. I don't like it. It's awkward for me. I did not make my cover-up. My ball came a little bit apart here. This is the other one. I have 3 balls of this. This is huge. Look at these giant balls. How many grams is this? Like, does it even have a weight? 340 grams, 12 ounces. Oh, this color's cute. It's called Potpourri Ombre. Anyway, so this is just, this had pulled out because I did a center pull. I thought it was too awkward to pull from the outside. So I done a center pull and it was falling apart, so I had to rip out the middle and to avoid tangles I just wrapped it around. So I don't even think there's a dye lot for this. Doesn't matter. It's like a tealish light baby blue and purple and pink speckles. Where's the blue? There's some blue up here. So yeah, and it's super soft. Bernat. Oh my goodness, don't tangle on me, please. Just trying to keep this organized. So I have 3 balls of this cotton. I have no idea how much yarn it's going to use because I've never made a beach cover-up, and it's super lacy, and I don't work with cotton. I just know nothing about this project, but I think I have more than enough, and if I have extra, well, I'll figure out what to do with it after. The blue is not as obvious in here, but I think it's nice. It's just a random mix of colors. In these bigger balls, they have like small balls, but I would have had to buy 1,000,000 of them. So I just figured I'd get the big one, and this was the most neutral big one that they had. So that's why I got it. I didn't mind the colors in it, but it's nice and soft. It's Easterish. Anyway, so my gauge was bigger, so I had to figure out how many stitches I was going to do. And because there's 4 different patterning sequences in it, they're all different multiples of stitches. So the one section A, is a multiple of 3 plus 2. Section B is a multiple of any number plus 2. Section C is a multiple of 2, and then section D is a multiple of 3 plus 5. So I had to figure out what would work. The pattern calls for 98 stitches, and with my gauge, if I do 92 stitches, which does fit all the requirements for those multiples, it will work. So we're gonna see how that goes. I'm thinking about knitting the 2 panels 2 at a time, just because it's longer than the pattern. So I think it might be easier to make them more identical, to do it 2 at a time, and because I have multiple balls of yarn, to keep them identical and keep my gauge identical. We'll see. I think I might do that. I'm keeping it in my porter bin, my Fringe Supply porter bin, so space is not an issue. Here's the 5.5mm needles, my Knitter's Pride, and this is the 80cm or 32-inch cord. So I think both panels would fit across there, all squished up. And we're gonna see how that goes. I leave on March 9th. Today is February 17th. I kind of had a feeling I was gonna do this to myself because I know myself. I wasn't going to make a beach cover-up, but I went shopping yesterday for some bathing suits and I got a couple. And I didn't see any cover-ups I liked, and the one I had a couple years ago, I had shrunk after the first time I wore it, so I was really upset about that. And I have this cotton because I did want to make it, so I figured I might as well cast it on. And if it's not done, then that's too bad. So that's the plan, folks. This is not a very portable project, so that's why I'm not bringing it this weekend, but we will see how that goes. This was my scribbly notes for stitch counts and everything. I like to do the math to figure out different knitting things because I enjoy math and it's like a puzzle to solve. So, yeah. So that kind of sums up my knitting week. It was supposed to be fairly tame, and it was until a couple days ago, where I decided I was going to cast on new socks and cast on a beach cover up, and that I was not doing the fiddlehead mittens. So yeah, but I'm on clue 4 of my with a fade, and I think clue 5 is a bit shorter than clue 4, and then clue 6 is just the tassels. So hopefully that'll be done. I'm not bringing that one. For my beach knitting, when I do go away, I want to bring 2 new projects, like have them just barely started. If I'm gonna bring socks, so I'll have the toes ready and have them joined in the round, so it's not super fiddly. And then I was thinking maybe a shawl, like the beginning of a shawl, because it's small when it's like that. I don't know. We'll see. I've been thinking a little bit about what I want to bring. So I might bring the one, that Hedgehog Bounce shawl. That's the colorway, Hedgehog Bounce. I might bring that shawl because it's just one skein. So we'll see, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. For my knittertainment, I'm still working on the 7th Harry Potter book, and we've been watching a bit of Boy Meets World. We watched a couple movies as well, and I can't remember what they were now. Everything I watched with Fred. I think that came out in 2017, but I really liked that. And we watched most of Edward Scissorhands, and then we turned it off. Jesse was falling asleep. I thought I was going to be freaked out by it, but it's not freaky. But I didn't realize how old it was until I saw Winona Ryder, because I watched Stranger Things, and she's middle-aged there and super baby in Edward Scissorhands. So we've got to finish that. But Jane the Virgin and Riverdale are not back until March. So I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. I don't really want to start a new series, but that's a long time. March 2nd and 8th, I think, are when the 2 are back. So is that common? Like, is it called a mid-season hiatus? Like, do they catch up with filming? Like, I don't really know anything about these, but all I know is I gotta wait for more episodes. So probably just listen to more audiobooks, catch up on some knitting podcasts. So that's kind of the plan there. Ooh, my chair just rolled backwards. My personal life. Like I said, I'm going to my grandma's today. We're celebrating Family Day, which is actually on Monday, but we are going for dinner to a pizza place and to bowling. I think there's going to be about 10 or 12 of us. I can never remember how many people are in my family, but that's not even the big the big part of it. So we're doing that tonight. Jesse's at work now, but he'll be finished around 4. I'm gonna leave earlier. This is getting too complicated. I'm going shopping before, so I'm meeting him at a different spot, and then we're gonna go there. He's spending an extra night with his friends. So I'm gonna be coming home tomorrow after lunch, and lunch is with my full extended family of like, it's gonna be like 30 people. So we always have to go to a buffet, and then everyone finds something that they like. And I'm gonna stop at a yarn shop on my way back, because lunch is in Mississauga. So I'm gonna stop in Oakville at Spun Fiber Arts. I'm so excited. They have a sock kit that I really like. It's like cabin socks or something. And I want to see if they have sock blockers, because I really want some new ones. I need a large size. I have a medium, and they're tucked away because it doesn't work. So we'll see how that goes. And then Monday, my best friend is coming. Her name is Steph. Her birthday is on Tuesday, so we're just hanging out for her birthday. We're gonna go shopping at the outlets in Niagara-on-the-Lake, get some lunch, and yep. So I'm excited about that, and that's kind of what I have coming up. I don't think I'm gonna do it today because I'm lazy, but I need to redo my nails. Look at how much they've grown out. And I have a chip on this one. Why does this never focus? I have a chip on that one. The tips, the edges are like wearing off. This is a dark purple, it's not black. I don't know what color I'm gonna do next. This one's nice, but it's very translucent and takes a lot of coats, so it takes a long time. Maybe I'll do one of these. Maybe I'll do this one. I like the more neutral colors. A similar one is this OPI one. I love this. This'll do nicely. This is like a vibrant orangey pink. I'm sure the camera, yeah, it's not even picking it up properly. But I don't really like neon nails. I used to when I was younger, but I might still do this for my trip. I don't know. We'll see. These two are cool as well. Anyway, that's some of my nail polish. And yeah, so thanks for coming to see me again this week. And I hope that I will have maybe another finished object to share with you next week. I don't think so. Unless look at my face. I just scratched it and there's marks on it. I don't think I'll have another finished object unless I finish the fade, but that thing is huge and I don't know how much knitting I'm gonna do the next little bit on it. I'm doing my beach cover up, so we'll have to see. Plus I'm gonna start new socks. Oh, at least I haven't bought yarn. We'll pretend that sock kit that I'm planning on getting is not yarn. And then I can still say that I haven't bought yarn. It's a kit. Okay, so yeah. So thanks for watching me again. I do look forward to this every week to talk about my knitting in depth because, like I said, I don't have a lot of knitting friends. So I can't just talk about all these crazy things because people won't understand. So yeah, thanks for joining me again. And I will see you next week. Yes, I will. I don't think I'm gonna film while I'm away because it's just a bit too hard with the travel dates and everything, but I'll see you next week though. Bye.